Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this video, we are continuing with our NCERT series and we will study part 2 of chapter 5 of our class 6th NCERT named as Our Past 1. And the name of the chapter is What Books and Burials Tell Us. So in this video, we will study about the megaliths. So what are the megaliths? Megaliths mean big stones. And these are massive stone boulders erected nearly 3000 years ago. These were carefully arranged by people to mark burial sites. What's remarkable is that this practice was not limited to one region. It stretched across the Deccan Plateau, South India, the Northeast, and even Kashmir, showing how widespread and meaningful these traditions were to early communities. So while some megaliths can be seen on the surface, other megalithic burials are often underground. These megaliths are also known as silent sentinels. So as mentioned in the NCERT, this type of megalith, as you see in this image, is known as cyst. Some cysts like the one shown here have potholes which could be used as an entrance. And this image is the horse equipment that was found during the megalithic age. These are axes and this is a dagger. Discovering the megaliths. So archaeologists often discover megalithic burials when they find a circle of stone boulders or sometimes just a single standing stone. So these subtle markers are the only clues that beneath the ground lies an ancient burial that is carefully preserved by time. Despite being spread across vast regions, megalithic burials share several common features. The dead were usually buried with distinctive potteries called the black and the red ware. Along with these pots, archaeologists have uncovered iron tools and implements as well, which is the proof that people of this period were familiar with iron technology. In some graves, archaeologists even found horse skeletons, horse equipments, as you can see here, and ornaments that were made of stone and gold. And these discoveries help us understand not only how people lived, but also what they valued and believed about life and death. Megaliths also reveal important insights about social differences within these ancient communities. So archaeologists believe that the objects buried with the skeleton likely belong to that person. But what happens when one grave contains dozens of precious items and another contains just a few pots? So the answer to this is clear at the site of Brahmagiri. One skeleton at this site was buried with 33 gold beads, 2 stone beads and 4 copper bangles and 1 conch shell. Meanwhile, other skeletons nearby had only a handful of pots. These findings suggest that there was some difference in status amongst the people who were buried. So some were rich, others poor, some chiefs, others were followers. And another fascinating question archaeologists explore is whether some burial sites were meant for particular families. So evidence suggests this might be true. Many megaliths contain more than one skeleton, though not buried at the same time. Later bodies were carefully placed into the same burial chamber through special openings called the potholes. And these potholes allowed new burials to be added without disturbing the earlier ones. The stone circles and the surface boulders acted like signposts, helping people identify the burial site so they could return to it whenever a family member died. So this shows a deep sense of continuity, memory and respect for ancestors. And now one of the most remarkable megalithic discoveries come from Inamgaon. Inamgaon is a very famous megalithic site, and this site was occupied between 3600 and 2700 years ago. And it gives us a vivid picture of early life in the Deccan region. Here adults were typically buried lying straight with their heads facing the north. Sometimes burials were even made inside houses, suggesting that families kept their loved ones close even after death. Pots containing food and water were also placed beside the dead. There is one good example of such burial found at Inamgaon. In the courtyard of a large 5-roomed house, one of the biggest in the settlement, archaeologists discovered a man buried inside a large 4-legged clay jar. The house even had a granary indicating that the household was wealthy or important. And the man's body was placed in a cross-legged position, which is different from the usual burials, thus making it a unique finding. Here in the picture, you can see the types of megalithic monuments. The discoveries at Inamgaon also reveal much about the occupations and food habits of the people. Seeds of wheat, barley, rice, pulses, millets, peas, and sesame have been found, showing that agriculture was well developed. Also, the bones of many animals, both domestic and wild, were also discovered. Many marked with cut marks from tools, proving that they were used for food. And these animals included cattle, buffalo, goat, sheep, dog, etc. People also hunted birds and caught fish. Along with these, they collected fruits like bear, amla, jamun, dates, and varieties of berries. So this tells us that Inamgaon was a bustling settlement of farmers, hunters, gatherers, and herders. So while these developments were taking place in ancient India, something equally fascinating was happening elsewhere in the world. So in China, around 3500 years ago, early Chinese civilization produced the first evidence of writing. But instead of writing on paper or clay tablets, they wrote on animal bones. These inscriptions are known as oracle bones, named because they were used to predict the future. So the kings would ask scribes to write questions on these bones. Questions like, would they win battles? Would the harvest be good? Would they have sons? The bones were then heated in fire until they cracked. Fortune tellers studied the pattern of cracks and interpreted the answers. Sometimes they were accurate, sometimes they weren't. But these oracle bones represent one of the earliest forms of written communication in human history. These ancient Chinese kings lived in magnificent palaces within large cities, and they accumulated enormous wealth, including beautifully decorated bronze vessels used in rituals. But despite their sophistication and riches, they lacked one crucial technology that the megalithic people of India already knew, which is the use of iron. This contrast reminds us that different civilizations developed at different speeds, each shaping the world in its own unique way. So the story of megaliths, burials, and early settlements like Inamgaon shows us how ancient societies honored their dead, organized their families, lived their daily lives, and developed their cultures. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more historical videos. Until next time, study smart, stay curious, and keep exploring.